The road to the show and ball player feature premiere is here. Let's go over what's going to be new for MLB The Show 22.
Phrase "well played Mauer" from the advertising campaigns for MLB The Show has gone down in history with the fans of the game as one of the most beloved phrases associated with it. How often do you have people walking up to you and saying that or some variation of it?
All the time, which is fabulous. There's a lot of fans of the game, including myself out there, and to be a part of that catchphrase is awesome. They would, as my career continued after the game and the commercial aired, they would actually play that catchphrase over the loudspeaker when I would make a nice play. So I've enjoyed it over the years, and yeah, it's a lot of fun to run into fans of the game and to hear that over and over.
So first thing that's new is added to the podcast, that Road to the Show experience. Joe Mauer is one of the new analysts for that kind of Road to the Show immersive stuff. We can see some of his accolades right behind me, and that's pretty cool. You guys know, if you've seen some of my videos, I loved when they had Ken Griffey Jr. For me, my favorite episodes of those podcasts are when they have actual players like Ken Griffey Jr. or Joe Mauer in this case. So I love that addition if they're going to keep rolling with this podcast. Here's their overall goal from the Road to the Show narrative experience, that podcast, those videos, stuff like that.
It's gone more than a few games now without drawing a walk. Plate discipline might be something to work on. I've got minor league manager Rachel Balkovec with me. Rachel, how important is it in a player's development to work on plate discipline and drawing walks?
It's absolutely vital. I mean, you're always going to see the people point to the example of somebody hit a home run with a pitch at eye level, but realistically, you're going to do better at hitting line drives, hitting the ball hard and in the air with the pitch that's down the middle. So you just have a better chance of success, and it's extremely important in player development.
Yeah, and you know, Vlad Guerrero, the Hall of Fame outfielder, had the ability to hit pitches on the bounce, pitches that were a foot out of the zone. Most young players do not have that ability. So if you're on your way up, don't put yourself at a disadvantage by chasing a pitch that's in the opposite batter's box.
Everyone, including our players, points to Vlad as the example of why they should be able to do that. But as you said, not everyone has that ability, and even players at the extremely high levels do better when they're swinging at strikes.
Another new analyst added to that Road to the Show narrative is Rachel Balkovec. So that's pretty cool that they're adding new ones. And from what they've said and shown, it seems like they've updated and recorded a lot with the old analysts too, like Robert Flores here. It seems like they have a lot of new videos, and they're not just using the same ones as last year. They're probably going to use, I would imagine, some of, if not all, the ones from last year, but they also do, as we can see right here, and we've already seen, they do have new ones right behind me. It literally says new and familiar faces. Comment on your ball player throughout your Road to the Show journey. So that's pretty cool. One of their focuses in the narrative for Road to the Show is rivalry games. So you can really get a feel for the biggest rivalries that your teams have. Here's a little bit of a listen right now.
Carlos, you know all about that. What can this player expect?
It's just so much fun. It is the way baseball is supposed to be. The intensity from the fans, from the stands, is very palpable. It's real, and you feel it, you know. And the best thing is make sure that you have it in your favor. For example, when we played in Wrigley Field at home, it was easy, right? It was fun to have all those fans behind us. But when we went over to St. Louis, it was a tough one. I mean, it was a very hostile environment. You know, good fans, but you felt that you were not liked, and that everyone was pressing so that you would lose. So very difficult to manage. The best advice I have, enjoy it because this is baseball heaven.
They've updated the logic for the episodes that you see, and it should be more based on how you're actually doing. There's new parameters that respond to your ball player's performance, like negative before. So it seems like they're really improving on and building upon the foundation that they set last year. They have more videos, more personal anecdotes. It's going to actually match up more with what you're doing in real life. Another analyst guy they've added for these episodes, that narrative and Road to the Show, is Kellen Lee, a mental performance coach, who's going to be talking about the mental aspect of that Road to the Show experience. So there's new people like Joe Mauer, Rachel Balkovec. I think I mispronounced her name earlier. Let me turn off the cam. We got Kellen. We got other guys that are returning like Robert Flores, Lawrence Jihadi. We got a whole bunch of people. As y'all can see, Ken Griffey Jr., there's a lot of people. Ron Darling right here. And for me, that was one of the biggest issues last year, is I felt like I was seeing the same people over and over, and it just wasn't adding a whole lot. lot, but it seems like this year they've added a ton of new people, a ton of new anecdotes, and just a ton of new footage that should make it more immersive and feel like it's actually relating to my Road to the Show ball player. So I'm really hopeful and excited to see how it's improved when I'm actually playing compared to what I was experiencing last year. I think that's everything new from the narrative side, at least everything that they want to share today in this feature premiere from the narrative side of things for Road to the Show, which I feel like these are good changes, and what they've talked about seems like it's going to be good. However, obviously, it's all about gameplay and the actual experience. Yeah, the narrative could be good. You could get immersed in everything and feel like it's really talking about your ball player, but none of that's going to matter if the gameplay's not good, if the experience overall for Road to the Show and for your ball player is not a good one. So I'm really excited to hear what else they've changed, added, and improved. So now let's get into the ball player updates. The first big change is you can actually have multiple ball players now. And I'm sure you're all wondering how many that is. You can have up to 10. You can have up to 10 ball players. So that is a big change. That is much needed. I'm really happy about that. It was so weird, kind of annoying, honestly, only having one. So that's awesome that you can have up to 10. And for your ball player, you get to choose a play style. You can choose now if you want to be two-way, if you want to be position player, if you want to be pitcher. You're not forced to constantly be asked by your team, hey, do you want to be a two-way player? Hey, do you want to be a two-way player? And you can also choose an archetype, power, contact, fielding, stuff like that. It's going to show you, hey, this archetype works best with these highlighted positions, and the ones that aren't highlighted are the ones where it's not going to work as well. So that's a pretty cool option right there. And then as we can see right behind me, play the way you want to play. You can start your Road to the Show career the way you want to play it. So this year, Road to the Show is seemingly the only way to progress your ball player. At least that's what they're making it sound like, as they took some feedback and realized that people wanted to progress their player in Road to the Show, not Diamond Dynasty. I'm a fan of having both options, but it seemed like in 21 it was kind of necessary in some ways to do Diamond Dynasty stuff, or it might be easier. But it seems like now Road to the Show is the primary and maybe only way that you're able to progress your ball player. So it seems like they changed archetype items for a ball player now. Instead of an archetype being tied to the program, now the program progresses on its own, and you can use any archetypes and switch them out at any time and always progress that program that you have selected. They're talking about rewards right now for Road to the Show. At the end of every program that you do, there's a new archetype that you guys can see, and then you also have the mini perks that can be selected and everything like that. But earning rewards is tied to, just like last year, the program for your ball player for whichever one you have selected. Whatever type of player you want to be, you progress that, and through that program you can earn rewards. Some of the other rewards, just like last year, are cleats, other pieces of equipment, rituals, stuff like that, things that are going to help your ball player and improve your ball player. So as y'all can see behind me, the types of rewards are archetype items, perks, equipment, stubs, and also XP. So pretty much the same as last year, and I love to see that, because it was honestly a really nice way to earn some rewards for your ball player, or just in general within MLB The Show. All you have to do is play. You're going to unlock tons of rewards just by playing the game. The missions are looking pretty similar to last year. However, they're really focusing on, and what they're mentioning is that these should happen just by playing. You should be able to complete these missions just by playing normally with your ball player. So that's pretty cool to hear. I love this feature. So the pitch selection was kind of weird last year. As we can see right here, they've changed how it works a little bit. You have your pitch arsenal, repertoire, whatever you want to call it, and it looks like you can always be changing your player's pitch selection. It looks like you can choose from a ton of different pitches. You can choose what buttons they're tied to within the game. So in my opinion, that's a much needed change if you're making a pitcher ball player a Road to the Show guy that's a pitcher. I feel like it was so complicated last year for adding new pitches and everything, so that's huge. It's seriously so nice that they made this change. As y'all can see behind me, like we saw earlier, you can choose what you want to do. You can choose the focus, the archetype for your ball player. You can also choose a fielding position for your ball player. So I love that it's set up this way this year, and I feel like this is a much needed change. Now here's a look at if you choose a pitcher, because we only saw the position player earlier, but here's if you're choosing a pitcher. And as we can see, it looks like there's not only 3 archetypes. You can scroll down, there's a little scroll bar, and you can choose from multiple. But for the fielder, it looks like there's only the 3, the power, contact, and fielding. And I don't know if that means there's only going to be 3 position player programs, because last year we had a lot. They were tied to those perks that you had, and I think they said it's changed this year where the programs are tied to the archetype. I either need to listen more closely or just get my hands on the game and see exactly how that's going to work with the programs and see how many there actually are. Certain pitches can now be tied to certain archetypes. So there is literally a knuckleball archetype, and that is how you unlock the knuckleball pitch for your pitcher. So that's kind of cool. I like how that works this year. I feel like that's a good change. However, to keep balance within the game, for example, you cannot use the knuckleball in online play. So if you're using your ball player in Diamond Dynasty, you're not able to use that knuckleball. So they've added a lot of new perks in addition to ones they're bringing back from last year. As we can see, it's kind of similar to Showdown. You could have a perk that increases your exit velocity boost in 2 strikes, or maybe your contact on pitches out of the zone, or your exit velocity boost while losing. I love that. I feel like the more perks, the better. I feel like overall, the more customization for anything, the better. And I really like that they've brought some of these perks from Showdown over to Ball Player and Road to the Show. I feel like that's a really good addition, and I'm excited for this. I feel like you're going to see a lot of fun Ball Player customization with the addition of these new perks. As y'all can see behind me, overall the perk system has been improved. We did a balanced pass from the ground up. We also looked at rewards to make sure this Ball Player package was as engaging as possible. So that's good to hear, and I love that they're continuing to improve on things, because last year was kind of a foundational year for Ball Player with the archetypes, the perks, that new system for everything, and it feels like they're improving on almost every single aspect of it. So that is it for this Road to the Show and Ball Player feature premiere. We have the final one in early access next Thursday. Diamond Dynasty live content and esports. I'm really looking forward to that, and MLB The Show 22 in general. Before I piece it out for y'all, I just want to give my quick summary of my thoughts and feedback on this. Now, my first thought on this is everything that they mentioned that they improved, updated, added, changed, everything that they talked about, I was sitting here like, yes, that's good. I'm glad they did that. But with that being said, I think I might have had my expectations a little bit too high, and I really want to get my hands on the mode, but I just feel like there wasn't a ton of changes, at least that I was hoping for, right? They overall improved the experience, but I'm really hoping to see stuff like a scout day out of back, high school, college. I was hoping to see training points return. So I think I personally let myself get my expectations a little bit too high, and for that reason, I was a little bit let down. But with that being said, everything that they did talk about, I'm really happy and was really happy with and happy to hear. So let me know your feedback, your thoughts in the comment section. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Peace out.